Hello, welcome. It's Abidi's Kitchen. And today I'm taking you back into my childhood with a childhood favorite recipe. This is sweet bake. For this recipe, you will need all-purpose flour, sugar, raisins, cherries, this is optional, butter, and shortening. You can use butter only or shortening only, or a little bit of both, and this is vegetable shortening, freshly grated nutmeg, baking powder, and mixed essence, or you could also use vanilla extract. You will also need a bowl of flour for dusting and water to knead. Let's get into the preparations. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is to incorporate my dry ingredient, and I'm going to be adding in there the brown sugar, baking powder, and nutmeg. Growing up in the countryside, my grandma always made this for us grandkids when we visited, and it was something that I enjoyed eating because in the countryside and back in the 80s, snacks didn't come from a pack. It came fresh from the kitchen, and this here was, as I said, my favorite. Now into there I'm also going to add the raisins and cherries. Give this a quick mix, and the butter and shortening. Now you want to work this butter and shortening in, and now that this has been incorporated nicely, I'm gonna go in there with my mixed essence extract, and you can also use vanilla. Together here I'm going to add water to make this into a firm dough, and the reason for this is because the sugar is going to melt and liquefy, and this is going to help it to become soft. So you want to pay keen attention to this, and I had about 3/4 cups of water in there, just a rough average. And you want to try to fold in all the ingredients and knead everything in there. Now this has come together here nicely, so what I'm going to do now is to give this flour and the rest of the ingredients a chance to rest. As usual, I'm gonna flour my pastry mat, put the dough out on there and turn my bowl down. You can cover this with saran wrap if you wanted to. And now I'm going to let this sit here for 15 minutes. This is going to help the sugar to start to melt and liquefy. So it's been 15 minutes and our baked dough has been resting here. And if I bring it in closer, you can see that the sugar has begun to liquefy, and this is going to make this soft. Lightly flour my hands and start folding this dough onto itself. And if you have to, you can put a little bit of flour, but not a lot. You don't want this to be too hard or floury. You want it to be rich and tasty. And again, lightly dip your hands into the flour and roll the dough onto itself. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to roll this out into a log and start to divide these. And I'm going to make these the size of a large egg. Now again, lightly flour hands, and I'm going to pick up the pieces and I'm going to roll this. I want this to come together into a nice smooth ball. I'm going to flour and set aside. Same, lightly dust hands if it's sticking, and roll this around. Now as you begin rolling these out, it is a good time now to put your oil on to come up to heat for frying. And you want the oil to be between medium to high heat. Now while the oil is coming up to heat as well, I'm going to begin rolling these out. This is going to help in making the process go by very fast. So that way, as soon as I remove one out from the oil, I put another one in. And these are ready to be fried. I'm going to take one. Within 10 to 15 seconds of putting the bake in there, it should rise to the top. If it's still at the bottom, it means that the oil is not up to the right temperature. And I like to bathe the top, and this helps in cooking it from this side. There, you're gonna get a nice golden brown, delicious sweet bake. After about 30 seconds, I'm going to remove and set it aside to drain. Here's the last one. And this one I'm going to make into triangular shape for my boys. Cut it in half, then into quarters, just like a pizza. And there, bite-size sweet bake. And again, they should quickly rise to the top. In less than 15 seconds, they should be floating. And same, flip to the other side to fry. And same, after about 30 seconds, these are nice and golden brown. I'm going to remove and drain well. And here you have it, my favorite childhood snack, fresh and hot out of the kitchen, sweet bake with raisins and cherries. Now this recipe, it's easy, it's simple, it's quick, it's delicious, it's homemade, and it's something that your kids will love and enjoy. And in the countryside, we usually have this with a cup of tea. Do try this recipe. All of the measurements and ingredients will be listed in the description box below. Give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and thank you for spending time with us today in Abby's Kitchen. Bye-bye. Enjoy.